Welcome everyone. Thank you for attending this first webinar. My name is Daniel Beaulieu. I'm the Regional Sales Manager Eastern Canada for Techni Contact and Amex Canada. I have with me my colleague Carl Gagné. Hi Carl.
Morning everyone, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. So Carl is the Regional Sales Manager Western Canada. And we have also with us Dave Nicholas and Mark Gilner, our technical engineer and resource specialist that will be providing answers to your questions. So during this webinar, you can ask questions. There is a Q&A tab where you can send your question, and Mark and Dave will be answering them. And we will be also going after the webinar through the several questions you guys have regarding our webinar. So so this webinar, by the way, is actually a recording. It's recorded now. There is also going to be a recorded content that will be sent back to you guys after through email. Today we will be basically talking about how the technology can help creating a unified remote or office workforce. And specifically, we will be addressing the effective camera considerations today, me and Carl. So let's start right away. I have my little mouse and marker here so people can follow me on the PowerPoint. Again, if you have any questions, just send them through the Q&A. Let's start right away. So new ways of working. Today's the reality because of COVID-19 had made us changing our way to work in a way that we were sent back home. Some of you had still to work, and keep contact with the customers or to do your day-to-day job. So a lot of company had to equip their employees with technology to be able to work at home, like laptops, cameras, even some people had no desk. So basically what we'll be covering today is the different aspect of the video conferencing, because it's basically in today's reality a big challenge. So Carl, you've been working from home for quite a while, right? Since COVID. So same for myself. We're not able to go and visit customers anymore. So it's important for us to keep contact and to keep in touch with our dealers and end users, customers. I guess it's the same for you, Kyle.
Absolutely. And what's very interesting now that a lot of companies are forced to have their clients, their workers, their employees all now work remotely. Now all the, what we'll say, main annoyances with video conferencing, whether it is video, audio, lighting, are all now coming to light. Before it was actually just a small little inconvenience because it wasn't a day-to-day operational thing. Now with everybody being forced into this new way of operating, these issues are piling on, or actually need to be addressed. So companies and employees' messages are not ineffective.
Exactly. And I'm sure we'll see also quite a big demand in terms of equipping some rooms. Before people were not necessarily thinking about equipment like video conferencing, web conferencing for their meeting space. But since now you will have some employees that will be staying home and maybe coming to the office, so they'll still need to communicate together. So technology with web conferencing will become quite more popular, I would think. So let's keep moving. We have about 45 minutes of presentation, and sometimes at the end so that me and Carl can go through the different questions you had. The needs for effective communication is quite important. So, when there's problems and it begins to happen, it can be really, really frustrating if your audio and your video is not effective. So your customer can see that they have a bad video or poor quality sound. That is quite important in today's reality. So that's why it's important to have the technology really, really considered quite important. So choosing the products that work in harmony to make sure that you support all the human element of creativity. So the collaboration, making sure also for people, a student that can communicate with their teacher for distance learning. Also, make sure that video conferencing or web conferencing is done in an effective way. So the way we built our PowerPoint is that this one was actually focusing on camera. So Techni Contact is the distributor of a Minrray camera manufacturer. They are based in Shenzhen. That's where they have their headquarters and the manufacturer. They've been providing communication solutions since 2002, and they build high quality, cost-effective cameras for all kinds of different verticals. So from being used in the government or public sector, education, telemedicine also as well, and in some broadcasting type event. So we're really trying to improve the quality. So Techni Contact is the exclusive distributor in Canada for Minrray. So we keep some stock in Montreal. So basically we try to keep the models that are most popular, that we know that are in needs for different verticals that we cover. In another series of webinar, we will be talking on other aspects of the remote workforce and office workforce, like audio, DSPs, microphones. So Techni Contact represents a different manufacturer. As you can see in the bottom of our PowerPoint, we named them with their logo, respective logo. I didn't mention we have also, so Kyle is in charge of Western, I'm in charge of Eastern, and we have a brand new regional manager in Central Ontario. His name is Brendan Hawthorne. So he's not with us today. He's just starting, it's been a month. But if you have some needs for these specific product solution, you can contact him if you're based located in Central Ontario. So let's move ahead. So we defined 5 different space in our video conferencing solutions. So we have the office space where the office could be remote, on the road, or even at the office itself, right? So we'll be covering this space with the corresponding cameras that Minrray are building purposely for that aspect. Then we'll move to the Huddle room. Huddle rooms are there since several years already. Some call them Huddle Space 2.0. There's different naming of these rooms, so we'll be also covering these type of room and type of space with the corresponding camera as well. Conference room, boardrooms, since decades the conference rooms are being used, boardrooms as well. The technology inside had changed dramatically from the past to today's. People are still meeting together, even if social distancing is the new norm, but there's going to be for sure an after COVID-19. Active learning classroom, so we'll be also exploring the different aspect of it and see what solutions we can provide for these specific space. The lecture room type is a kind of a unique type of room where we can have hundreds of people sitting there. So we'll be covering also the different technical and technology that could be a good fit and solution provider for this. So perfect. So, well, Cal, I'm going to be handing this back to you. Let me give you control of my presentation. Here we go. It's all yours.
Thank you, Daniel. So as Daniel mentioned, we've got about 5 different spaces, and we're kind of work our way up from the individual remote office space into the much larger lecture auditorium. Now, this is where we're seeing the biggest change in the new normal of how people are operating. Now, with everybody forced into working from home, working remotely, we've seen many examples of, poor video, issues with audio, and clients generally just trying to make the best of the situation, right? Most remote office workers generally don't have a dedicated space. You've seen it where people are having video calls on their kitchen tables. They're having it, I've seen LinkedIn posts of people using cardboard boxes as their desks. Some are lucky enough to have a dedicated space. But in these spaces, you have to have some considerations that are critical. Now, needless to say, the desk monitor and peripherals are not necessarily something that's going to affect your video call. However, lighting of the space is a major factor. Having a light source, a bright window behind you, open out to the outdoors is going to wash out your video. So you want to have proper lighting. Now, needless to say, chairs, we're obviously not looking anything lower than this. We're not too concerned about the chairs, but we are worried about proper positioning as well as audio pickup. Individuals, if you have a poor microphone or using Bluetooth, you'll notice the audio cutting out. This is something we'll address in another series of our webinar series. Part 2 will cover the audio functions. However, as Daniel mentioned, today we're going to focus mainly on the video considerations. So, general webcams, we have our Minrray MG104 series. This is a full HD fixed lens camera, standard USB camera with built-in noise canceling microphones. You'll notice we've actually got a couple options here for field of view, 80 degrees and 109 degrees. Now, a general rule of thumb, 57 degrees field of view is a 1-to-1 ratio. So every foot away from the camera will pick up a foot in horizontal distance. With us being in the 80-degree field of view and all the way up to 109, we're actually increasing that significantly. A wide-angle lens is considered 108 degrees, and that will pick up to 2.8 field of view. So we'll use this as a quick example. Most regular webcams that you'll see on the market, even built-in webcams on laptops, are under 70 degrees. They are not designed for anything more than an individual in front of that space, in front of that camera. You've seen the video calls where people huddle around the laptop. That's why, because the field of view is very, very condensed. Now, nothing too crazy on this system here, on this particular webcam. Plug and play, 1080p, 30 frames per second. This is for your basic video calls. This enables you to have an effective video call without having to worry about, noise pickup from the noise canceling microphones or, a very condensed field of view that you move out of. Then we move a step up into the huddle space area. So many corporate offices have adopted this. This is about 3/4 of the meeting room spaces that are actually being deployed. And this has been around for quite some time. Last few years, it has gained popularity. Some people consider it a huddle space, breakout space, collaboration room. Generally, these are for small groups. These are 2 to 4 person team breakout areas for ad hoc meetings. Going down the hall, you meet up with a teammate and you want to discuss an upcoming presentation, meeting, and you just want to jump into a room to have a quick discussion, maybe even throw some content up on the screen. Now, our considerations in the huddle space, needless to say, we have more people in a small space. Now, ideally, the architect or the space planner will have adapted proper furniture, display lighting, and image quality for the space based on the requirements of the company. Now we're adding in some connectivity and presentation capabilities. This is usually a very simple, whether it's an HDMI cable just to put a laptop up on the screen or a wireless BYOD solution. However, Now we've got to really consider our microphone selection or audio selection for this space. We have to pick up 2 to 4 people in the video call. They all have to be heard, and we don't want to worry about someone turning away and going to a whiteboard and not being able to be heard effectively, which then also ties into our camera selection for these spaces. So this is where the field of view comes into even more critically to make sure that everybody is captured. We have 4 people who are now less than 6 feet away from the camera. We want to be able to capture these people and have our proper video call. So the MG200 series, available from Minrray, is actually a 4K, let's see if we got it going. There we go, Daniel. So it's actually our 4K 30 USB 3 option for Huddle spaces. So this camera is actually mainly designed for the Huddle space solution. Comes in a couple of flavors. So the standard MG200 4K 30 supports USB, HDMI 3.0, as well as LAN PoE. So this is a PoE powered camera. In the event you don't have PoE, it does have a local power supply, as well as HDMI outputs and USB 3 outputs. Now, all 3 of those outputs could be used simultaneously. Now, the MG200C is an interesting variant of it. It's strictly a USB camera. However, it has built-in auto framing to automatically adjust to who enters the room. So we have a Huddle space with 4 people. It will auto frame those people, all of them within the same shot, as long as they are within the field of view. USB 3.0 is the only option for the AI version of this camera. Comes with the remote available with the unit and the, not sure if the video froze here.
No, it's going to start. There's also the a support built into the camera as well.
So the auto tracking and auto framing, I'll just touch on that while we'll see what's going on with the video here. The auto framing and auto tracking is actually not configured by traditional means. It has an 83 or 120 degree lens available, as well as built-in dual microphones to pick up participants in the room. 120 degree field of view, this is very wide field of view, which allows actually up to 17 feet of horizontal view if you're only 5 feet away from the camera. The MG200, as we discussed, 4K 30 across all the outputs. So you could actually downgrade from USB 3 to USB 2, however your resolution will suffer. And then same with the 200C model, strictly USB 3 with a Type B connector, and it supports dual video streams. So you could have 2 simultaneous USB streams, video streams out of this camera. Maybe you're feeding multiple laptops, or maybe you have a video capture software. So we do have a quick little demo here, and I've actually had the demo cycle a couple of times because it's very quick. So we have a conference room, someone enters, and the camera automatically picks up the attendee and frames them in the middle of the scene. You notice we actually now are not seeing the door. We're not seeing people leaving and entering the room because now we're focused on the participants, and it automatically adjusted when someone else entered. Now again, this configuration, you just have to turn the auto framing off with the included remote and the on-screen menu. There is no configuration. It will as soon as it's turned on, it will automatically start tracking participants within the room and auto framing them as they come and join the meeting.
Perfect.
That covers the Huddle space, and Daniel, I think, is going to cover into the conference room spaces now.
Correct. So, so by the way, so you're aware, while we have video happening on the webinar, I'm actually activating the acceleration for the video movement, and I'm stopping them after. So that's why you're kind of losing probably our video face, myself and Kyle. So let's move along and switch to the conference room space. The conference room space, could be for a one-to-one a meeting, or it could be for a group communication meeting. So these conference room space, have been traditional for quite a long time over there. So people are using these rooms to collaborate, to present. They bring all kinds of device in these rooms, laptops, phone, tablets. So it's quite important that all the different technologies are well integrated in these environment and these space. So AV systems in these rooms are really designed with the user in mind. So so that people are integrating technology easily in these rooms, and that you can also have a really good communication tool. So it's actually really important and crucial for companies to develop a strategy to leverage the video conferencing now, because of the new reality that people need to communicate all together. So that becomes quite a significant company and corporate asset in these environment. So let's move and see what we should consider in these room space. So the first thing for sure, furniture, like as we saw earlier, furniture, decor, display, lighting, image quality, these are always some consideration to take. Some rooms already have some furniture, so then the integrators or the end user have to put technology in these existing room. Sometimes it's a brand new room. Again, depending on the size of the screen, is going to be a LCD, is going to be a projector, and the lighting also will need to be taken care of consideration in these rooms. Connectivity, compatibility, so also make sure that if someone is bringing a computer with a USB-C connector, that you offer this type of connection in your environment, or if it's basically just a wireless connectivity like a BYOD device that people can connect their mobile or their tablets basically. For sure, the audio, video, and room coverage is quite important in these space. Microphones. The microphones can be ceiling, could be table, could be also directly at the display, depending on the size of the room. So the capture of the audio is important in these space. The video also, and the video will brought us to a pan and tilt zoom camera. So most of the time in these space versus another space, you will need to have a pan and tilt camera so that the participants are actually viewed properly in the conference and the web conferencing. So basically you'll have some presets, camera will move corresponding to either the microphone or with some control system like AMX touch panels. So depending on the need, you can have a different way of controlling your video conferencing room and all the technology inside that room as well. So let's see more in detail the camera consideration here for that room. So again, I will activate the acceleration for video in this case. So the UV570 is actually a new camera. It's been about 6 months that we offer this camera now. A new design, quiet pan and tilt and zoom, so it's important for the space so that people don't hear the camera when it moves from presets to presets. This camera comes in different flavors, so you can have some options to it. All the cameras are equipped with 1080p 60 output for the resolution. Let me just start back this. Sorry about that. Trying to get my second slide here coming up. So HD 1080p, different type of zoom lens you can get also with it. There we go. So multiple optical zoom lens as well, 5x up to 20x. With really wide angle view. So Kyle mentioned about the angle of view for the different cameras we offer. This one with the 5x offer you a 83.7 angle of view without any distortion. One thing to also note is all the cameras from Minrray have glass lens, so which is adding the quality. Multiple video outputs that we have on this camera, and we'll cover them in the next slides. The camera again comes with either a 5, 10, 12, or 20x. So these are all optional. We keep most of the time we try to keep the 12x and the 20x depending on the demand. But if there's needs for other option for lens, we can order them. That's not a problem. Typically, it takes about 3 weeks to get the camera in stock. I mentioned earlier there's a different output on this camera. This one actually is the UV570 SU model version, which has HDMI, USB 3, 3G SDI. There's also streaming, H.264, H.265. So what's nice about these output is they're simultaneous. So you can actually connect the HDMI display, you can connect the USB to your computer, or you can even use the stream out to be able to view the camera for maybe distance control or distance managing. This camera also is PoE powered, so you could power it from the network or for injector, or actually you can use the existing power supply that comes with it. One thing also I wanted to tell you guys is this camera has the line-in capability. So what this means is that I can insert back the audio from, let's say, a DSP that had no USB out and be able to combine the audio and the video on my output on the USB and the HDMI. So again, trying to leverage the technology within the camera. Control, so the camera can be controlled RS-232, RS-485, to 422, as well as TCP/IP. So it's using the VSCA protocols from standard for the control. The camera comes also with IR remote control, and what's nice about these IR remote control is that you can have more than one camera controlling on it. So you can have 4 cameras. You can set the IDs of the cameras with it. You can access also the on-screen menu, but if you want to be doing a little bit more configuration, each camera have a web interface that you can access from your web browser, and this allows you to basically control and configure the camera in a higher level than the IR remote. Okay. So let's move to our other third or fourth space, the boardroom space. So boardroom space, again, medium to large room size that can accommodate up to 16 people most of the time. This room is actually a higher level of room in terms of it's going to be where your executive or your prospect or partner will be doing some event. This room can be used to, again, do all kinds of presentation. People can bring their technology, can bring their laptop. So similar to the conference room, the only difference is this room sometimes will have a unique type of furniture, higher level like marble or glass table. So sometimes integrating technology in this space can become a challenge at some point, right? So that's why, you know, it's important for choosing the right product in this space. So that people are, you know, able to display, you know, properly their content and have the remote participant being seen properly. Sometimes also these rooms will have some room booking system for room reservation. So most of the time these rooms are used also by the executive people, but also they're able to be shared by the rest of the company people, or if it's at a school, then it could be for teachers or director. So one main thing here also, it's important to keep and maintain these rooms always working. So that's why, you know, having a live, real-time live monitoring and support for these rooms is quite critical. We also find in these rooms that quite often there's a kind of an automation system in place. Could be like IR sensors, so that when someone comes in the room, it automatically start the meeting or start the presentation, depending on the reservation that was scheduled for it. So let's take a look now on the considerations we should think about for this type of space. Okay, let me bring back my video file now. Perfect, sorry about that. So furniture, decor, display, lighting, image quality. So all these considerations are important. So mainly because now we have higher level of people maybe using these rooms, connectivity, compatibility also with some of the device being used in the room, audio, video, room coverage. So some challenge I mentioned earlier about the glass or marble type table there, you know, could be good to have maybe wireless microphone or ceiling microphone in this space. But the coverage for the capture of the sound is important, so that you know, everyone is being here and can be also be viewed properly. In these space, we thought that you know, higher quality camera is it would be a good fit. So that's why we are kind of going towards the 4K type resolution camera here. So the display may be also 4K. So that's why, you know, we're trying to leverage the technology in this space with higher quality. So let's see more in depth the camera itself about this space. So again, let me just move back my video and start this. So the UV420, we have two versions of it. We have the UV420A and the UV420B, depending on the zoom lens you are looking for. This camera also allows us to have several output simultaneously be outputting a video. So we have HDMI, USB, same also we have the capability to stream H.264, H.265. This camera also is PoE and multiple optical zoom lens, 4K, 60 frames per second up to, and again, all the USB 3 connector on these cameras can be connected to USB 2, but you would be losing some of the resolution for sure. 5 or 20x, so there's only two options on these camera for the lens. As you can see also, this camera is similar to the UV570, so the look is similar. It has similar capability also as well. So mainly the resolution and the lens options that we can have for these cameras. If we look behind the camera, we have HDMI, USB, similar to the 570. We have the line-in where you can feed in audio in. Actually, the camera I'm using right now is the UV420B, which has a 5x zoom and a wide-angle view. That's the camera I'm using right now, and I have my USB out to my computer and my HDMI to a second screen, so I can actually view myself in front of me and not be looking on the side. So that's how I'm equipped my home space. The camera comes also with the IR remote. It's not an option, so we decided to have standardized an IR remote per camera, so that way when you get the camera, it's out of the box, you can plug and play and use it right away without going to a web browser to configure or to do any other setup. Good. So let's move on the other space that we'll be covering today, classroom space. So classroom space, you know, our traditional desk is moving to be enabling people to collaborate into kind of a cluster space where you can have a group of students being collaborating together. These spaces are becoming more and more popular in higher ed. But they are also popular in high school and different other type of learning space. And main reason is because more and more people are collaborating together. So these space, you know, it needs to be technology rich. So basically, the technology in these rooms is really important, so that you know, students are actually, you know, being educated and have a positive learning into their environment. So let's move and see the classroom considerations. So space considerations, basically we have here our space consideration for the furniture, decor, display, lighting, image quality. In this example here, I'm showing some chair with a tablet, so people can actually group themselves as they wish. The technology here will need to be kind of implemented a way that everyone can be seen if there is video conferencing. So the camera could be fixed on the wall. So it's going to be important to make sure that we cover all the room. So that said, the connectivity here also, depending on the type of space or furniture, it's going to be either a monument or it could be a wireless connectivity there that can be used to be able to share content between the pods. Room coverage for audio and video is also a key here. Microphones either going to be wireless, ceiling, or it's going to be a table or wall mounted, so depending on the environment. Pan and tilt zoom camera. So here we have a good consideration for the pan and tilt zoom camera. But one important thing in these active learning space is basically the cost. The cost is a major factor, and the main reason is because a manager needs, most of the time, they need to replicate that technology room to room. So so that you know, you have an effective way to manage all the technology in these rooms and in these environment as well. So to keep up the technology up to date. So let's see a little bit more in detail the pan and tilt zoom camera that we selected for that space. Again, I'm going to be changing my optimization and start the video. So UV540, it's been a market for a couple of years already. Really popular because first it's a small form factor, pan and tilt. It offers a variety of lens as well as a variety of outputs. There's also a wide angle view without any distortion, 83.7. So like Kyle mentioned, everything that's above 70 is a wide angle camera. So again, this camera has a different lens. Oh, sorry, just went too fast. Sorry about that. 5 or 10x optical zoom available for the camera. Also, this camera has several output that you can activate. So either USB, you could have HDMI, and for sure H.264. So all the camera except for the webcams that has only the USB connector are able to stream video. So it's quite neat because you can actually, as a manager, control the camera from your browser, even if you're not in a room, or actually do help desk assistance using the streaming. So the streaming will work as simultaneously as you are also doing HDMI. Some models of cameras cannot output like HDMI and USB simultaneous. So if you need some information about that, let us know, and we'll make sure that you selected the right camera for your project. Cameras can be controlled RS-232. It could be also controlled through TCP/IP using, again, the VSCA protocol. The cameras also supports different other protocols like Pelco and other, but mainly VSCA is quite popular protocol being used. And now I'm going to be switching to my colleague Kyle, who will be talking about the lecture room.
Thanks, Daniel. So lecture rooms and auditorium spaces, these are quite large spaces. These are very purpose-built. You think TED Talks, panelists, higher places of higher worship where you have a pastor or somebody on stage. This is a space where the presenter is the main focus, not necessarily the content, not the audience. Sometimes there is audience engagement, but it's all focused on the person at the front of the room. And with that, it comes with many of the similar challenges the other rooms have in terms of space considerations. Now, furniture, not necessarily an issue. We obviously want to have the focus on the presenter. Tiered seating, very large space, but we have to make sure that how we're delivering that message from the presenter to the audience, whether they're local or remote, whether that's going to be a live stream, it's going to be recorded for later, similar to the Zoom webinar we have going on here. Mind you, this is a more intimate space, and then audio and video coverage of the room to ensure that that presenter is captured effectively. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Generally in large spaces like this, you have a camera operator. You have somebody in a control booth who will be actually tracking the presenter, the motivational speaker, whoever it may be, but that obviously is not something that you can apply in most situations. So there are PTZ cameras with auto tracking. Minrray, the UV100 series, is the auto tracking version of one of their educational cameras available. And Daniel will just start the video here.
Yeah, let me just do it. Here we go.
There we go. So with the UV100 series, we've actually got a couple of different flavors available for the auto tracking. Now, what makes it very unique is that the auto tracking configuration sits on the camera and not a piece of software, and I'll go into that in a minute. But our options here, we got a full HD camera, 60 frames per second. That ensures a very smooth video being broadcast out or captured for later. And you can see we've actually got a couple of different lenses on here. So it's actually a combination of two cameras, a PTZ camera up top with a 12 or 20 times zoom, or a fixed panoramic camera at the bottom. So the panoramic camera, will give you a huge shot of the entire space, the stage area, whereas the tracking camera will actually do the locking in on the presenter and zoom in and follow them during the event. So we've actually got a couple of options here, and Daniel, if you actually will pause it once we have the bottom information showing, I'd like to kind of go into this a little bit deeper. So you can see we've actually got USB, HDMI, LAN, as well as 3G SDI. There we go. So generally the lecture tracking camera that's available, it has, when we go to the configuration, we're actually configuring the camera via IP. That's why we have actually two LAN connections on the back there. And the free software that's available from Minrray allows it to configure the camera, the tracking zone, the locking area, as well as what we consider the platform area. This is configured over IP with the two LAN ports. Then the student tracking camera, which has SDI, same configuration, we just have the option to use SDI as opposed to HDMI and USB 3.0. Now, SDI is also available on the teacher tracking camera as well. And as I mentioned, a lot of competitors in this tracking camera space require a computer connected to that camera running a tracking software to operate, or the lecturer is required to wear a lanyard, or it tracks via IR. This is all stored on the camera. It's configured. Once it's configured, you disconnect the software, you disconnect the laptop used to configure it, and the camera will operate accordingly. So we've actually got a quick little demo here of the tracking. Once it's configured in the space, and you'll notice how smooth and quick it is to lock on the target. So she stepped into the target area, the camera has noticed her, and it zooms in accordingly. Now you'll notice she's not even leaving the frame of the camera, it is continually tracking. Another thing you'll notice, the background image is not affecting the tracking, so you can actually highlight areas such as glass doorways, projector, or LCD displays to be ignored by the tracking software. So she is still within the tracking zone, keeps following her, and we're even noticing somebody's entering and exiting, but they're not the target lock. So once the camera has picked up the presenter target lock, students, people coming and going are actually not affecting the tracking either way. They're not affecting the tracking of the main target presenter. Now we do have some options where if it does lose tracking of the target, it will actually zoom out to the panoramic shot. But other than that, that is actually the UV100 series with auto tracking built in, and it's a very interesting application. We see a lot of that in higher education. So I will pass it off to Daniel here for some final notes here of what we've covered today.
Thank you, Kyle. So yeah, this was a great demo with the auto tracking camera. So so let's do a little summary about what we've saw today on this webinar. The type of video conferencing space, like we said, we have office with a combination of cameras that can be used. Mostly will be webcams. Huddle room where there's some options for having some kind of AI, like for auto framing or having a fixed wide angle camera. Conference room, boardrooms, or the UV570 or 420 can be used and considered. This type of technology for the pan and tilt zoom is important in the space. Active learning classroom, UV540 series, and lecture room, UV100 series, or also for a more education type of project. But again, lecture room can be you know, all kinds of type of event there, from presenter or to panelist, like we're doing here, but in a real environment and not a virtual space. So that ends our presentation. So I know there was some, I don't know if there was some question that we can look. So like I mentioned earlier, let me go. So I guess there was no question at all.
There's a couple of questions that popped up in the chat here. How do you set the target block? So in reference to the UV100. So they have a software program called IVE Smart Software. And when you connect actually to the camera via IP, it'll give you both cameras. It'll give you the panoramic camera and the PTZ camera view. And what you do is it will automatically set the target lock based on the area you drag and select in the space. So if you have, in that example, they had we'll call it platform for a teacher, you would actually in the software configure how big of a space to actually start capturing the target with it's like a white rectangle area. Yeah. And then once that is configured and sent to the camera, any presenter that jumps into that target space will automatically be locked in.
Yeah, and actually, Kyle, will be having a video actually recorded on how to set up the camera itself. It's quite easy once you know how to do it. There's also other questions. Is there UV540 and 570 coming with their wall mount? So actually no, so there's no wall mount coming with it. It's an option. So we have wall or ceiling mount for the cameras. Again, depending on the needs. So you should just request them as you want them. Optional accessories. Yes, there's like we just cover like a couple of different models here. Minrray has a broad range of also accessories, like they have a keyboard controller, IP control. They also have some USB extender. We have fiber extender, 15 meters or 30 meters available, and these are real USB 3 enabled high-speed fiber cable. Is there other question?
In regards to the UV 540 and 570 wall mounts, they can also be mounted on the ceiling. There is an optional ceiling mount available. And correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, it can be mounted upside down and you would flip the image with the on-screen menu, correct?
Correct, exactly. The only one that it's not recommended to flip upside down is the tracking camera, the UV 100. Because of the angle of view of the panoramic, if you upside down, you put the camera upside down, it kind of going to make a little bit more complicated to adjust the calibration for the auto tracking.
Right.
Yeah, all the other ones can be flipped all around. There's a question, the UV 950 is end of life? No. So UV 950, the UV 510 are still available. And we still have stock also in Montreal. Again, we didn't cover them. We kind of focused on the new models that we have, but they are still available. You can also go on the Minrray website. They have all kinds of spec there you can access to, or if you have also more questions, you can just send it to myself, Kyle, or Brendan in Central Ontario. Here's someone, Mark. So Mark is actually sending the link for the Minrray website. Let me see if there was other questions here. So I think you've answered the one concerning the target block. So there's a new message. Yeah, no, I think we covered everything. Anything else, Kyle, you wanted to add it on this webinar?
Nothing in particular. I mean, we did have some good questions regarding the 950 and some other models that are available for Minrray. We could have gone into obviously every model that's available, but that we would have been here for about 3 hours. But what we have found with Minrray, especially being the sole distributor, is they have options for every application, right? When it comes to 5 or 10x optical zoom, 20, or even auto tracking, they actually will probably have something that will suit your client's requirements. It's just a matter of, contacting us, and we'll see if we can actually select the right model, right zoom lens, model number available, because there's quite an extensive options available.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and one new things also they started to implement it is the NDI. So in the NDI feature is a new technology by NewTek, and it allows people to send the video over stream, but in a higher speed. Yeah, some cameras like the 950 and the 510 have the NDI embedded on those, but these are special order also. So again, just ask and request them as you have some needs for it.
Right. We have a question came in. Why do you need 2 LAN ports instead of a single LAN port for the UV100? So each LAN port on the UV100 is dedicated to each camera. So one LAN port is for the PTZ camera. The other LAN port is for the panoramic camera that is actually mounted on the base there. And you actually use that to pull the live feed into the software via IP to configure the tracking. Now, that being said, that also enables you to live stream from the LAN ports an H.264 or H.265 stream out to maybe a caption device, live recording, or a dedicated streaming device. So very good question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, correct, exactly. So one thing also is that once it's configured, all the configuration, the algorithm stays in the camera, so you can actually disconnect the second port if you don't need to reconfigure the camera again. But obviously, it's convenient to have both ports connected always, so that in case you need to make some adjustment, yes, for sure.
Another question came in. The NDI camera you're bringing out, is it NDI HX or full NDI? Is that?
That's a good question. I will have to get back or find information on that.
So our panelist Dave mentioned that it's actually full NDI.
Oh, great,
Yep.
great.
Dave responded to that in the chat. Appreciate that, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, there will be a part 2 of that webinar series, which will be the audio considerations that we will be presenting in the coming weeks. We don't know the date yet, but we will be announcing it in the future. Sure. Any other questions, Kyle, you're seeing? Or we missed?
Q&A seems to be quiet. Everybody's getting their questions in. I appreciate everybody being engaging us on this and having some good follow-up questions regarding configuration and models.
Just looking. No, I think we answered everybody's questions, Kyle. So this actually was our first experience doing a webinar here, me and Kyle. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, there's another question. Yeah, so email will be sent out, correct. So email will be sent out with the recording and with a survey also as well. So you guys can note our performance today of me and Kyle.
I've already been told I should smile more, apparently. So okay. I'll remember that for part 2.
Good, good, good. Okay, so well, I think we can say that we have a wrap here. So again, thank you everyone for attending this webinar, and I hope we'll see you guys in the near future close for the next webinar series. Thank you very much.
Appreciate everybody's time, and hopefully we found something or learned something here today you can take back to your clients.
Thank you, Kyle.